broke as hell, why are you judging opportunity? I'm not saying go get involved with everything, but you can't just be sitting there calling everything a scam. It's really bad to have a big ego and a tiny little bank account.
You've done over $2 billion in sales.
This guy's a fucking genius.
Best-selling author, speaker, and momentum creator.
I just know you have the charisma and all the variable things that matter.
You want to make $1,000 a month in 7 things, or make 10 grand a month in 1? Find the vehicle, find the strategy, find the coach, find the mentor, and then set DMOs, daily methods of operation. What do I need to do today to make sure today is executed properly?
Let's say someone never set goals before in their life. What would you tell them in terms of goal setting?
Well, number one, you need to define what you really want.
Welcome back to another episode of Money Buys Happiness, guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, never miss an episode because these episodes are super valuable, okay? Also got our merch live right now at www.mbhtv.com. Guys, we have merch for all our shows there. All our talent has merch. Go check it out. You guys will love it. Today I sat down with the Alex Morton, okay? He is a master in mindset and in sales, and he's done over $2 billion in sales. Yes, you heard that right, $2 billion. Grant Cardone has called him a genius. Gary Vee has said he has it. And he's been mentored by none other than Bob Proctor, okay? This guy's the real deal. We went over how he went from nothing to building an empire. He was literally at rock bottom and he built an empire. We went over manifestation, why you should be using it, and how you can manifest $1 million in 2025, okay? We also went over the law of attraction. The law of attraction to me is a cheat code to success, okay? Guys, this is a masterclass in mindset, okay? Get your notebooks out, write some notes, implement the value, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the show, guys. Alex,
My man.
Nice to have you here.
Glad to be here, man.
You're smashing it. I'm so excited for this conversation. You know, at first I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna talk a lot about sales and we're gonna talk about money, and that's cool. And then I realized, wow, this guy is a mindset master. So I'm super excited to get into the mindset side of things, but we're gonna talk money, of course.
Money buys happiness.
So you've done over $2 billion in sales, but I wanna go back to the first dollar you ever made.
First dollar. Well, first off, excited to be here, man.
Of course.
Beautiful spot. Congrats to you and your team. What you guys have done is fucking awesome.
Appreciate that.
So
man.
congrats. First dollar I ever made. Wow. It was either baking cookies in my parents' kitchen and selling them during study hall in high school, or I grew up in Ohio, right?
Okay.
So every single winter, snow, ice, all this crap, I was shoveling snow in people's driveways with my friends, knocking on doors, getting $10, $20, shoveling snow. And I remember like it was so hard, even though it was so cold outside, I remember just sweating my ass off. But those were the first couple of bucks I ever made, man.
What made you want to start making money on your own? Because it's like, and what age were you when you were making that money?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was shoveling snow during the winter, baking cookies and selling them in school. And then I was also licking envelopes in my parents' insurance agency, like 7th and 8th grade.
Wow.
So like my parents were entrepreneurs, so it was kind of like a cheat code to business and success. Like I grew up just watching my dad every morning, 7 a.m., leave the house, you know, white dress shirt, tucked in his slacks, went to the insurance agency. My mom would drop my sister and I off at school and go right there. They worked 6 to 7 days every single week. So I just kind of grew up seeing like business ownership. And my parents always said, like, listen, you can live the life you want to live. You can be whatever you want to be, but it's going to take money, man. Like, and I grew up watching like TRL on MTV. Yeah. And the rapper music videos and the cars and the houses. And I'm like, I can't have any of that being normal, being mediocre, being average. So I got to make this money somehow.
And you took that solely from your parents, or was it even experience with you going to school and maybe, you know, seeing a richer kid come through with a nice car and you're like, damn, like, because I know that affected me too at a younger age.
No, for sure. So I grew up in a small town, like 2 pizza shops, 2 ice cream parlors, Bexley, Ohio, like tiny little town, right? Okay. There was 3 sections. There was South Bexley, which was like poverty-ish. We were in Central, which was like middle class. Okay. And then North Bexley was like Les Wexner, who owns like Abercrombie and Fitch and the limited brands, like billionaires were over there, right? So yeah, man, like I remember seeing kids get dropped off in Range Rovers. I remember the big like Mercedes-Benz's SUVs, like the rich moms had like the big ML 280s back in the day. My dad drove a Ford Expedition. My mom had like an Aurora. I don't even know if they even make those anymore. Well, we were always good. Like we weren't broke at all. True. Like we weren't poor, but I always knew, you know, why could this family take 5 vacations a year? Yeah. You know, and then why did this family, they never left Ohio? And then there was us. So I'm like, I started to correlate like, okay, freedom in money is, they're parallels. Like if I want freedom to do what I want, I got to also have a substantial amount of money so nobody can tell me anything and I can live my life on my own terms.
Which is impressive to feel that at that age, right? I think a lot of us learn that later on, right? But I want to ask too, like, did you go to school? Like, were you in, like, did you go to high school? Did you go to university? You went to all that. But understanding freedom, wasn't that kind of like battling each other? Because you're like, oh, I want to be free, but here I am in school.
Yeah, I didn't buy the bullshit, man.
Okay.
I remember sitting in class, fifth grade, sixth grade, middle school, high school, Bexley High School, staring out the windows and stuff and listening to some of these teachers talk about, you know, the employee mindset, right? Like everyone's gonna you gotta go to college and then everyone's gonna go get a JOB. Yeah. And I kept thinking like, they keep talking about getting jobs, but everybody who's rich and wealthy that I've ever met own their own business. Yeah. So at 18, I applied to a couple of different universities. Okay. Indiana told me no, Ohio State told me no, Oklahoma put me on a wait list and then told me no. I applied to Arizona State. Okay. I did one campus visit with my dad. There were girls studying at the pool, 105 degrees outside, Phoenix, Scottsdale, and they let me into ASU. So I went out there. But again, I get in there and I'm in the business school and it's employee, job, unpaid internship. Like the biggest scam ever, right? Literally. This summer, you're gonna go work for this guy, 9 hours a day, and they're gonna pay you no money, but you're gonna get experience. So I was calling bullshit way early on, and I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I knew once I found my one vehicle or my one thing, I was gonna go all in and I was gonna go get rich.
So you finished school then?
I graduated ASU with a communications degree. Okay. So it's interesting, right? My mom, master's degree from Pepperdine in Malibu, California, like very, very smart school. My dad, college dropout, Oklahoma University, and then they went on to make, you know, a few $1 million. So I kind of grew up in this house, and my dad was like, listen, your mom wants you to finish school, and while you're out there, find ways to make money and go out and get freedom.
Okay, so talk about that then. How were you finding ways to make money? What kind of ways were you finding? And what was going on in your head as school's coming to an end? Because I guess now you're thinking, it's time for reality.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, at 18 years old, I'm in my dorm room at Arizona State, and it's hotter than hell out there, right? Like, it's fucking like 105, 110 degrees. So I get this genius idea. It's called ASU Sun Devils. That's like the mascot name. Okay. So I'm like, I'm going to create Sun Devils shaved ice. So one night I was literally on eBay, like back in the day, eBay, looking for ice cream trucks. I was gonna buy an ice cream truck, hire a bunch of girls, and I was gonna sell shaved ice. Okay. And I remember the campus was like, no, you can't do that. So that went out the way. Second business idea, sexy Sun Devil cleaning. I was gonna hire a bunch of 19-year-old half-naked girls to go clean people's houses.
Oh, that's a great idea. If I was 20, I would have purchased that service.
Yeah, right? Yep. Right? But then I talked to my dad. I'm like 19. And he's like, well, it's a great idea. However, if one of these girls gets sexually assaulted, you're probably gonna go to prison. So I'm like, that's not gonna work. Okay. Real estate. I'm 19 or 20 years old. My mom calls me. Okay. And she says, I want you to turn on Bravo TV tonight, $1 million listing. It was this new show back then. Okay. She's like, watch this show. So I turned on Bravo TV, $1 million listing. Sees 3 guys that are driving nice cars, selling houses, making money. I think it was in like Beverly Hills. Yep. The next day, I have no car. I take the discount cab to the Real Estate Learning Center in Mesa, Arizona, and I apply for my real estate license. Wow. And that was and I failed the exam so many damn times. It was miserable, but I eventually passed my exams, got my real estate license, and that was my first, I guess, real taste of, hey, you're not getting paid anything per hour, but if you go out there and close residential real estate deals, the sky's the limit in terms of making money.
So you were watching $1 Million Listing and you're like, this is sexy.
Yeah.
This is a sexy way to make money. So that's what you were into at that point. That's
I mean, I don't know. I think I was 19. I was a teenager, man. Yeah. Like 19 years old.
And at that point, I guess, besides your parents, obviously they were a huge inspiration. But was there anyone else at that point that you were kind of looking up to saying, I see what this guy's doing, that's pretty cool. Or I see this guy in real estate, that's pretty cool. Or I see this guy doing this. Was there anyone you looked up to at that point?
Well, these three guys that were on the TV show, right? I was like, that's pretty dope. You know, they're in their like mid-20s, making, you know, a lot of money, driving nice cars, doing their thing. But honestly, I didn't have, not yet. I mean, I grew up watching Entourage. That was actually the first show. That show, man, I'll never forget it, man.
Yeah. I think it inspired millions of people.
Bro, I was 16. We all like ganged up together and watched the premiere, HBO premiere, like 8 of my friends. And I would never forget driving home after watching that show. I'm driving a maroon Ford Expedition, 1998 Ford Expedition. I remember rain on the windshield. Yeah. And I was thinking, like my subconscious mind even back then, I was like, yo, whatever I just saw, like freedom, money, choices, whatever I just saw on that TV show, I'm not gonna go be a model or an actor, but that is my future.
Yeah, the storyline of the show. It just made you want to like call all your boys and say, let's start a company, let's get rich. You know?
100%.
If you haven't watched that and you are in entrepreneurship, you have to watch that. It's gonna inspire you for sure.
100%.
So you're in real estate, okay, you get your license. How's it go from there? Do you start selling? How's the performance?
Yeah, I found a gray area in real estate. So I find this gray area to where like if you have a real estate listing, like it's your listing, right? But then I'm like, okay, what can I do here to leverage the marketing here or something? So I actually took your listing, which wasn't legal, but it wasn't illegal.
It was still gray area at that time.
Yeah. And I marketed it as my listing.
Okay.
And then I would attract buyers to call me about your house. They call me, then I call you, right? And I'm bringing you a buyer, so you're happy.
Yep.
We close the deal. I make money, you make money. So I started to do that, marketing other people's listings as
you didn't have to get your own listings.
As my own listings, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm young. There's no young real estate agents in Tempe, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm gonna create a real estate company even though it's not a real company. So I made t-shirts, black shirts, pink lettering, Alex Morton Realty on my t-shirts.
Nice.
I would pass them out to, again, you know, guys and girls. They would wear them around campus. And then I was making these little flyers. Dude, I was showing up Thursday nights and Friday nights, a bottle of Captain Morgan rum in one hand.
Yeah.
And a freaking stack of these flyers, and I would be showing you different residential properties. Wow. I became the go-to guy for student housing on ASU's campus.
Amazing, but I'm sure it has a lot to do with the marketing you were doing. Like, how did you have a touch for marketing at that
Dude,
point?
I was just talking to everybody, man.
But it's kind of like you knew what they wanted.
Yeah, well, every kid needs a place to live. There's 80,000 kids on Arizona State's campus. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, I would just be walking to class, passing out flyers. Yo, what's up? My name's Alex. I'm a real estate agent over here. Like, what are you looking for? 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Give me your number. So, like, even today, my phone book, if you, like, open that sucker up, like, thousands of random names and then, like, what they wanted. Like, Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. I wasn't making a ton of money.
Of course.
But it was teaching me, like, the grind, the hustle. I get to work for myself. Yeah. You know, I have my own fake company.
Yeah.
And I was doing it. You know?
And I think people miss out on that because think about how much you learned during that time. And you weren't even thinking like, oh, I have to be the best real estate agent. You're just like, let me learn as much as I can.
Yeah, 100%.
Networking abilities, selling yourself. I mean, these are things you take with you throughout your whole life.
Of course.
Right? So how long were you in real estate until you stopped? And why did you stop?
I think it was about like 2 years on and off. I was a full-time college student.
Okay.
Full-time partying, full-time college kid.
Okay.
Doing real estate on the weekends and stuff.
Okay.
And then I am just about to turn 21. My dad calls me from Columbus, Ohio. I'm at ASU in Tempe, Arizona. Hey, there's this guy. He gave me some health products. My blood pressure and cholesterol shot way down. Okay. I feel really good on these health products. I know you don't care about the products, but there's a money-making opportunity. I want you to go meet with this guy. His name is Marty. Okay. He lives in San Diego. He drives 4.5 hours to Phoenix. I blow this guy off at least 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
I'm like, no, yeah, I'm busy, I'm doing this. I don't know what the hell it was.
Okay.
Finally, he goes, hey, I got you 2 free Phoenix Suns tickets to the game tonight, NBA team.
Nice.
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, but you gotta meet with me in the lounge upstairs. It was called the Verve Lounge. Okay. So we had a healthy energy drink in that first company. It was the official drink of the Phoenix Suns.
Wow.
So I'm like, dude, whatever. 2 free NBA tickets. I'll sit down with you for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I go to the game. I meet with Marty. I'm like, it's too good to be true. Sounds like one of those pyramid things. Bullshit, scam. And I say no for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Okay.
And then one day he calls me. He goes, Alex, I'm doing an event in Phoenix tonight. I'm like, whatever. He goes, I'm bringing with me a guy. He's 25 years old. He earns $10,000 every single week in the business. And I was like, say that one more time.
Yeah.
He's like 10 grand a week, never went to college. I said, give me the address. I go to Scottsdale. I go to this little office that night. I meet this guy named Brad. He walks in, Breitling, iced out Breitling watch. He's with like a Houston Rockets cheerleader girl, Louis Vuitton backpack. I'm 21, still pretty much broke because every dollar I made in real estate, I'm fucking spending it.
Okay.
And I'm like, you make 10 grand a week? And he's like, yeah, man. Like, you know, he showed me like this app. And he's like, I'll help you do it. Yeah. I'm like, I'm in.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm fucking in, dude.
Okay, so your initial thoughts, right? You're saying, okay, sounds like a pyramid thing, scheme, scam. Am I gonna get screwed over? So what changed in that sense?
See, seeing is believing.
Okay.
You know, I saw someone, I could touch this guy's arm, I could see the money in the bank account.
Okay.
And, you know, I tell people now, now I've been in the industry for 13 years and done pretty significantly well.
Yeah.
And I tell people, man, it's really bad to have a big ego in a tiny little bank account. Like, if you're broke as hell, why are you judging opportunities? True. Like, I'm not saying go get involved with everything, but you can't just be sitting there calling everything a scam.
True.
And I'm like, that's what I tell the young people today that I coach. I'm like, listen, you're spending more money every single month than you're bringing in. You know, if this guy's telling you he's making 40 grand, 50 grand a month, and he's trying to give you an opportunity, obviously vet him out. Of course. But you need to take everything with an open mind. Yeah. Right? If you don't have an open mind, your mind's like a parachute. You jump out of a plane, your parachute stays shut, you're gonna die.
Well, I think people have that closed mind because they're in denial. They're like, they kind of don't even want it to be true. Right. That can't be true. Right? It's one of those. So so I guess you start working under him, this guy that's making $10,000
Yeah, he's in the business. Okay. His dad's the #1 earner. He's like top 10. Okay. So I get started. Okay. And then like the blinking red lights go off in my head because there was no young people in the company. Wow. And I'm thinking, hold up. I'm like, wait a second. Network marketing, there's, the Herbalifes, the Mary Kays, the Avons, all these old school companies. And I'm like, every event is everyone's 40, 50, 60 years old. I'm like, dude, there are millions of college kids across America, Ohio State, Indiana, UCLA, USC, Arizona State. Most of these kids on these campuses, even to this day, dude, they don't even know why they're in college. It's true. Why are you in school? I don't know. Everybody does it.
My mom said,
Student loans. I'm like, we have a healthy energy drink. This is when Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, 5 Hour Energy, Starbucks was going like viral. Yeah. So my genius idea, and honestly, it was genius. I'm going to get all these young people to drink this drink instead of this drink. They're already spending the money. And then we're going to build a business. Wow. So I get started. I call 50 of my friends over to my house. 25 told me they'd show up. 10 show up. During my presentation, I was so bad. 6 out of the 10 fucking leave my house. Wow.
During the presentation, like, I'm out of here.
So there's 4 left. Okay. 2 say no. 2 say maybe. 1 enrolls. His name's Josh Noble. We're still very good friends to this day. We turn basically 2 guys in a dorm room to 96,000 people. Over the next 4 years, I made my first 7 figures before I turned 25. And then the rest is pretty much history.
I'm gonna go back a little bit because you just said so many like impressive things so fast. Okay, I want to start with this though because I feel like a lot of my audience, especially, hear a lot about network marketing. Yeah, direct sales. They're just hearing these words out there, right? Yeah. What is network marketing?
Okay, so companies have products, right? Yes. Celsius is a great example. Okay. They spend, I don't know the number, tens of millions commercials. Billboards, magazine ads, Super Bowl commercials, movie previews, influencer marketing. They spend tens of millions of dollars to gain brand awareness. So me and you see Celsius in the store, and we go buy it.
Yep, we keep seeing it over and over. Yep.
Look at Prime right now with Logan. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable, right? Yep. But they're paying, I mean, my God, they have some of the top soccer football players in the world promoting their stuff, some of the top influencers on the planet. So they have marketing money spending to get brand product awareness, right? Yeah. Network marketing says, we have great products and services. We're not spending money on ads. We're going to pay you to share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your boys, your girls, because they already like, trust, and respect you. Okay. Every dollar the company makes, we're going to shove 50 cents out into the field.
So it's kind of like looking at it like instead of spending money on a billboard or this TV ad, we're going to get a bunch of micro influencers at that point.
Yeah.
Right? That have trust, even if it's trust with 500 people. Right? And that's who's going to market our product. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So how do you start building a team in network marketing?
Yeah, it's word of mouth advertising. So, like, if you sat down with me, like I'm in a financial educational company. Okay. Now we have like AI and health and wellness too. But if you saw a presentation and you're like, hey, Alex, I want to do this thing. Number one, I'm going to ask you, what do you need? What do you need to see result wise in the next 6 months to make this even feel like it's worth your time? Okay. You'd be like, man, if I could get to $1,000 a month. That could pay for a little bit of rent, a little bit of food, a little bit of party money. So I'm like, great, $1,000 a month, right? In our compensation plan, I believe it's like 27 customers, in your organization, and you're making $1,000 a month, right? Okay. So immediately,
you need 27 people to get that $1,000.
27 people in your group that are spending money every single month, accessing products and services over here, right? Cool. So it's very, very simple. I'm like, listen, and I'm very old school. A lot of people do this solely on TikTok and Instagram, but I'm 35, man. I grew up where I was going presentation to presentation, living room to living room to living room to living room, super old school. Now we use Instagram and social media. Of course. However, I'm like, hey, man, who do you know that likes to make money, that complains about their job? Who do you know that's interested in Forex, crypto, e-commerce, stocks, health and wellness? Like these are our product offerings, right? Okay. And you're like, yo, my boy Alex, my boy Brian, my girl Sarah, Rachel, Dar lives in Toronto. We're a global business. Wow. So then I'm like, yo, make a list of like 50 people that you think potentially would like to do what it is you're doing. Mm-hmm. Then I would teach you how to invite them the right way to get on a Zoom presentation where I'm giving the presentation, or like if we're in Miami right now, you're like, yo, I got 10 of my boys, bro, they all want to get rich. Yo, when in the next 4 days can you have 10 of your homies show up to this living room right here on this couch? I'm going to come here and give them the presentation. Some are going to say yes, some are going to say no. Okay. And the ones that say yes, we work with them and then we keep growing and expanding.
Very cool.
So simple.
Yeah, no, it is simple. And I think network because I love that system. Right? I love the fact that, you're helping others, they're helping others, but it does get a bad rep sometimes.
It does.
But why?
People do it the wrong way. Okay. Bad expectations,
so what's the wrong way to do it?
The wrong way is, hey man, you're going to sign up for $275 and we're all going to become millionaires in the next 12 months. Okay. Probably not. My first year I made 13 grand. Okay. And I worked my ass off. Yeah. I got told no. I was rejected. I had people talking shit, making fun of me. I had a professor at ASU tell a class of 500 people, hey guys, if you don't feel like studying for the exam on Friday, go see Morton in the back. Wow. He's got a get rich quick thing for you.
Oh my God. You had it plugged in like that?
Crazy, bro. So people, it gets a bad rep because you join thinking you're going to get rich tomorrow and it's going to be super easy. Dude, it's not easy.
So it's kind of expectation based.
Totally. Because if I said, hey man, I would have made more money my first year working at McDonald's. Yeah. If I tell you that up front and you get in and your results aren't up here right away, you're not going to be super agitated and pissed off because I didn't lie to you. True. Too many people, they bullshit, they lie, they inflate. Yeah. And then when reality hits the customers or the business people in the face, then they get, angry and upset.
Well, I think you mentioned that you're like, okay, I asked them, how much do they want to make? $1,000 a month? That sounds realistic. Correct. If you start telling someone that never did sales before, oh, you're going to make $50,000 a month. Come. That's when the bad rep starts, right? Correct. Okay, so you start with an energy drink, correct? And then you mentioned other products to come as well. Right. So what other products came to be?
So my first company was energy drinks, vitamin supplements. Eventually we had a coffee, we had like an iced tea. So it was very like health and wellness focused.
And that was the 96,000 people.
Yes. Okay. And that's where I built my name. Like I was making Facebook videos. Okay. The first video I posted was, my mom liked it. My sister commented on it. There you go. And then it kind of went viral. And then we started spreading, right? Like Arizona turned into Michigan, Arizona turned into Ohio, California, Mexico. Wow. Then I was in Luxembourg in Europe, and I hosted an event in Austria one time. I remember 4,000 people showed up. Wow. So I started to build this name. Like Alex Morton became like a brand, right? I didn't mean to do it, but that's what started happening. So then I did that for 4 years, and then I'm like, okay. I remember what Gary Vee told me. He said, in order to get rich and wealthy, you got to get somewhere before everybody else gets there and wave the flag. Okay. So in 2016, everyone's talking about Forex. e-commerce, drop shipping, Bitcoin, right? Every Uber driver's talking Bitcoin, BTC, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, so people are kind of getting away from physical products, right?
Yeah.
They're moving into the digital space. So I partnered with a gentleman out of New York City, phenomenal trader.
Okay.
He's like, I know trading, you know network marketing. Let's marry this thing.
Okay.
And I've been with him for almost 9 years. We took I walked into a company. There was 1,000 people in the whole company. You know, at our peak, we had 300,000 customers around the world. I've been in 76 countries, from Tokyo, Japan to. I mean, listen. Next month, I'm in Qatar, Iceland, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. I'm doing an event in Dubai. I've been in Peru. I've been everywhere because now with that phone, I mean, you know how it is, man.
It's
you make a
insane.
video, you post it, all of a sudden, 50 people in 50 countries see it right away.
Of course. This might sound like a dumb question, to be honest, but how do you network market trading? Because it's not a product, right?
Well,
So
we
how-
have live education, recorded education,
Okay.
different scanners.
Okay.
So we talk about, hey, would you like to learn how to make money in the largest financial market on the planet?
Okay.
And the truth is, if me and you get on Google right now, someone's going to be selling us a package, 1,000, 5K, 10K, 50K. Our stuff's $200.
Okay. So you're teaching them how to do it.
Yeah.
It's more of an education
So
thing.
I'm on sales, leadership, marketing, brand, speaking, like the front guy over here. And then on the back end are phenomenal world-class traders in the Forex space, the crypto space, the e-commerce space. We have a travel platform now where you save money on hotels and flights.
Wow.
So we kind of mirror this thing to where it's like education over here, and then people like me over here building the business, speaking, sales, leadership.
And the speaking part is super interesting to me because you just, over 75 countries, I think, and the list is going to continue to build up. So that starts after the energy drink company, the speaking.
Correct.
Okay. And you're looking at it as an opportunity. Well, I can just go to these countries that I have my customers and see them face to face.
Yep.
And talk to them, which is so powerful.
Yeah, listen, social media is great, but I tell people, if you're going to be great in sales, building organizations, whatever it is, you have to become a master communicator. You have to.
Yes,
And
you do.
nothing's ever going to replace this.
I know.
Talking, shaking somebody's hand,
Yep.
looking them in the eye, saying, hey, man, I got you, bro.
Yep.
You know, like I went down to Lima, Peru, 5,000 people showed up. Lagos, Nigeria, 5,000 people showed up because people respect it, man.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yo, this guy
It's coming all the way here.
freaking lives in Miami, Porsche Tower, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's going to fly to Tegucigalpa, Honduras,
Yeah.
where with 4 security guards with AR-15s because it's such a poor country. Everyone's scared of this kid getting kidnapped.
He's a
and he's going to
celebrity.
still show
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and help us.
Of course.
So the
I don't even think
respect-
I don't even think 5,000 people would show up for their president or prime minister, and then you're pulling up.
I don't know.
But talk about communication because super important.
Yeah.
And you get into speaking, and a lot of people know that they should be a good public speaker. They know it deep down. They're like, this is something I have to nail down.
Yeah.
How did you nail it down? Because I watched some of your videos on stage. And dude, you are full energy, a full battery.
I appreciate it.
Nonstop. And you can tell from the audience that you are getting through to them
Yeah.
in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
So maybe talk a little bit about your experience with speaking and how you think you've been able to just smash it.
Well, first off, when I first started, man, I was terrible.
Okay.
My first presentation, Arizona State, 2011. That's
Yeah.
the time I invited 50 friends. 10 showed up. I was so nervous
Okay.
to talk to 10 of my friends.
Yeah.
I remember I'm upstairs. It was a townhouse. I literally drank 2 beers to calm my nerves.
Yeah.
And I was like, shaky. My hands were sweaty and all that. And now I can go, I spoke at Grant Cardone's big event in the Florida Marlins baseball stadium with 26,000 people. And I'm just as comfortable doing that as I am talking to you right here, one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
So, number one, practice.
Just reps.
And the thing is, here's the deal. Like, athletes watch film and sports tape.
Yeah.
Like, they play a football game and then they'll have film study,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I look at what I do as a sport,
Yeah.
right? So I do this. Like, I'll go speak in front of whether it's 500 or 5,000. I'll watch the tape back.
Yeah.
And be like, where did I not pause long enough? Where did I not use voice inflections the proper way? Why didn't I say, if you're with me, say yes? Or, if you agree, put your hand up, getting the audience engaged, right? So honestly, to answer your question, just like anything, practice doesn't make perfect, but it will make permanent.
True.
If you do something enough, you're going to get good.
And it's funny you're talking about watching back the tapes, because at first, even with my podcast, I refused to. I was like, I can't watch myself. And a lot of people think that, you know? Did you ever feel that watching yourself?
It's weird. It's weird, but then you find the errors.
Mm-hmm. And you're just jotting it down. Next time, I'm saying this instead of that.
You correct them.
Yeah.
Just like Tom Brady in football, just like Mayweather in boxing or Jake Paul in boxing, right? It's like, how do you get better if you don't know where you mess up?
Yeah. Did you ever have a time where you bombed, like bad?
I'm sure. Yeah, different presentations in people's houses. There were times where I would lose my train of thought or whatnot, but
that happens,
but the truth is, you know, God definitely blessed me with a certain skill sets.
Persona, yeah.
And once I found out I could get in front of a room of people, and by the end of that talk, people were ripping their Visas and MasterCards and Amexes out for $499, $536 with shipping and tax. I'm like, okay, I got to speak as much as I can in as many rooms as possible. And that's how I really built my first organization.
If there's like one trait that you would say for a public speaker, you know, is it confidence? Is it knowledge? Is it how much you know? Like
it's a lot. It's a lot of that. I tell people, you know, facts tell, stories sell.
Okay.
So I think intertwining stories with your message is super impactful. And you've gotta understand, if you're blessed enough to be able to get in front of a room of 5, 10, 15, or 20,000 people, or 4 people on a couch, people are there because they already respect you at some degree, or they would just walk out the door.
True.
So knowing that they're there to learn from you, it's your duty and obligation to give them as much as you can in that time frame so they can leave that experience and hopefully their life gets 1% better. So when I walk on stage, even when I'm tired of shit, red-eye flights, like I'm like this event next month, I land in Cairo, I do an event all day, and then there's only one flight that gets me into Doha early enough to do another event. So it's literally like it's not even a red eye flight. It's like an orange eye. It's like 3:40 a.m. takeoff. So event, give, airport, fly to Doha, land in Doha, maybe have time to take a quick shower, and then right into it. So even when I'm like super drained and tired or whatever's going on in my life, I'm like, okay, but it's my duty and obligation to give these people something of value so their life can get a little bit better.
Built different, bro. You are built different to be able to do that, you know? My guy, Daniel G, I look at him the same. He's flying all over the place.
Yeah.
He's 100 countries in a year. And I'm like, dude. And he's like you, high energy at all times.
Yep.
I never seen him chilling. I never seen him just like, right? But you guys are very similar.
That's what it takes, man. If you want to be elite.
But I think you feed off of it, right? You're going to these different countries, 5,000 people, bro. Even if I was dead tired, I would be like,
you get charged up.
A shock of energy, bro, right?
Yep.
I want to continue your story, but I want to go back to, you know, the money that you made early on, right? With the first company. How much money did you make?
So, and I can share this now, but almost 1.7 million in my first company.
This
about
was the
3.5 years, which is a lot of money to anybody.
Of course.
But it's a lot of money when you're making no money in college, and all of a sudden, first it was a 3 Series BMW, then it was a 6 Series BMW, then it was a Rolex watch, and then it's like, you know, it's like this. It's not real like celebrity and fame, but like
it's getting there.
Your head blows up a little bit, man.
How did that affect you at a young age to be making that much money? Because, you know, I talk to a lot of very young, successful people, and sometimes it can be very good, and sometimes it can be very bad when they make a lot of money.
Oh, for
quickly,
sure.
You know,
I've seen it both ways.
I'm sure you've seen that on a full scale. How did you manage, you know, making that much money early on? How did it affect you?
Well, my self-worth definitely increased, right? And I really started originally into network marketing. My mom was telling me my dad thought he was having heart attacks, but it was really like stress and panic attacks because the insurance business was very stressful back then. Working 7 days a week, somebody's on your ass. So I was like, okay, I'm the oldest kid and the only son. I need to get rich and wealthy to retire, you know, mom and dad.
Yeah.
But when I started making money, thank God, honestly, for my dad, man. He's been like my financial manager, I guess you could say.
Okay.
My whole career, even to this day, he still helps me. He does my taxes and stuff. Like, And it's like, I'm gonna bring the money in, and you're gonna go out and multiply it, make sure I'm compliant. And I've seen a lot of kids, man, make a lot less money than me. They just go off the rails, man. It's sad, dude. Like, I'm talking, I never got into drugs. Partying back in the day, sure, tequila here, tequila there, but I was surrounded by tons of ecstasy and Molly and tons of coke. I've never done, it's not like, oh, drugs are so bad, whatever. I was so programmed to stay away from some of these different things. Yeah. So because of my head was actually set on straight on my shoulders, I could stay relatively, focused and determined and moving forward. And then my dad always told me, like, my highest month in my first company was 107,000, right? And I'm young, dude. I'm 22, 23 years old. God. And he always kept telling me, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. And remember, it's not what you make, it's what you save. Wow. It's what you have. Mm-hmm. A lot of people in my industry, man, they start making whatever it is. Like, oh, I'm making 50 grand a month, I'm spending 60. I'm making 100 grand a month. Yeah. I'm renting 3 cars. Yeah. And a lot of these guys, they didn't pay their tax. It's sad as hell. They didn't even pay their taxes. So at some point, you're gonna get a knock on your door. Yeah. Yo, you owe 600 grand. Bro, I don't got it. You're gonna get arrested.
Yeah. Do you think there is a balance though of like, okay, let's say I make 50,000 in a month, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta keep making this money. Maybe I gotta spend a little bit to flex a little bit, so that people trust me more. That's just the world we live in. Yeah, unfortunately.
It was different back then, but now in today's world, I guess you got to have public proof. Yeah. And it helps. I mean, if you're a solo guy selling a course on trading or teaching physical trainers how to go make 100 grand a year or a month in personal training, whatever it is, like, people are looking for that proof of concept. However, people got to be smart too, because I got friends, you do too. You can rent a Lamborghini Urus in Miami for $600 a day. Yep. There's studios in LA that they mocked up a perfect mock-up of a Gulfstream plane. I seen that. And you can go film podcasts, fucking, content, programs. So it's like, okay, now in 2024, almost 2025, you also need to ask for real stuff. Like, I teach, like, the people say, Alex, how do you decipher who to pay for coaching or who to get knowledge from? I'm like, listen, when I sat down with the CEO I'm partnered with today, straight up, I was in Vegas one-on-one with him, and I said, hey, Chris, I know you've done very, very well, and everyone says this, that, and the third. I said, listen, I've been deceived so many times from people. I want to see a tax return. So I tell people, yo, if someone, it's like, show me what's up, man.
Show me the proof.
You're telling me you can help me make $1 million a year. Let me see you make it. Prove to me you made $1 million in a year. Yeah. And I think that's fair.
And I think that's where the whole scammy thing comes, because like you just said, just rent the Lambo, and all of a sudden you're selling a course. You buy the course and you turn out, oh, that guy didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, they made money by selling other people how to make money.
There you go.
It's crazy, dude.
Right? But I want to talk about how you start getting into mindset, because I think that that's a huge part of who you are today. When it comes to mindset, law of attraction, manifestation. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of all three, and our audiences as well. Right? Yeah. So I'm super excited to talk about that. When do you start realizing, what's this manifestation stuff? What's this, I should take care of my mind stuff? When do you get into that world?
Yeah. Well, 3rd or 4th grade, my dad gives me Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Amazing.
The Magic of Thinking Big. I find my parents' old audio cassette tapes. A lot of you don't even know what that is.
Cassette. Oh my God.
Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, one of those tapes. So I'm like playing them in my basement in Columbus, Ohio. And I was like infatuated with the way this man was speaking, right? So I got into personal development like indirectly through books and some of these tapes and stuff. Okay. But it wasn't until I met my #1 mentor and coach, Bob Proctor.
Legend.
Yeah. Legend. The best. Yep. And I say it to everybody. When I meet people all over the world, I'm sitting in a sauna and they're, what do you do? And I start talking to them and stuff. Everyone always knows Tony Robbins. Yep. About 40% of the people know Bob Proctor. I know. But I tell people, man, if you want to get really educated on this stuff, you need to listen to Bob Proctor. Yeah. But late 2011, the CEO of my first company, I got to $400 a month in income. I start speaking. He's like, dude, this kid's got a spark in him. Like, let's use this kid to like build my company. Smart man, right? He's like, I'm going to take you on my private jet today. We're going to fly from Tempe, Arizona to Raleigh, North Carolina, or Charlotte or Raleigh. whatever it was.
Okay.
You're going to speak. I'm like freaking out. You know what I mean? Private jet first time. Holy shit, this is nuts.
Yeah.
I get there. I speak on stage. I tell my story. After I speak, I want to go get water.
Okay.
I go in the hallway of the conference center. I'm drinking at the water fountain, and I see this older man floating towards me with, you know, white silver hair, you know, he always full suit. Yep. I don't know who the hell this guy is. And he walks over to me and he's like staring like through my soul.
Wow.
And then he says something along the lines of, "You're going to go really far in this business." And then he just walks away.
Oh my God.
So I go back into the conference room and I'm telling like my friends like, "Yo, this old guy came up to me, blah, 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 blah." And then the next speaker on stage was freaking Bob Proctor. They edify him like, you know, he was in The Secret. One of the law of attraction top educators in the world. He spoke in 95 countries. He's been on Larry King Live. Like, I'm like, holy shit, dude, this guy is fucking nuts. And I got very lucky. His wife was in my first company. She had a young team in Toronto.
Wow.
He goes, "Work with my wife's young people. I'll coach you for free." So he met me at $400 a month, and he coached me until the day he passed away during COVID. Texted me on his deathbed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned too that you were working on a project with him as well. Correct? Like,
Yes.
Before he passed away.
Before he passed away, I did an event 2 years ago in Miami with Ed Milet, Grant Cardone, and a couple other people.
Okay.
And that originally was going to be Bob and I.
Wow.
And he was looking at venues in Vegas, Miami, and then he got sick and passed away. So I said, you know what, I'm going to still do the event. I'm going to bring on some of the people that are kind of like my mentors.
Okay.
And it was called Break the Code, right?
Cool.
But yes, before he passed away, I still have text messages. It was going to be called like The Millionaire and the Mentee or The Millionaire and the Mentor, something really catchy. It was kind of going to be like, hey, I'm passing the torch. Because a lot of people don't know the lineage of this thing, man. You know, you're talking about Andrew Carnegie, wealthiest man in the world at one point, right? Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich.
Legend.
Earl Nightingale, who was the first ever broadcaster on the radio for personal development, The Strangest Secret. Bob Proctor gets hired by Earl Nightingale as VP of sales when he was like in his 20s. And then I meet Bob at 21 years old.
So now you feel that you've been given this torch.
Completely.
And you've mentioned many times this isn't your information.
Correct.
I love that. So what are the things that he instilled in you? Because I talk about it a lot too, right? Law of attraction, manifesting, and a lot of people just think it's
Hocus
voodoo.
pocus.
Oh, what is that? Law of attraction? What are you talking about? If I think about money, it comes? Yeah, right, buddy. Right? So what did he instill in you? And how did you implement it in your life?
He taught me that anything we want must first be created in the mind, right? And he taught me obviously a lot about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
You know, the dominating thoughts of our mind, of our life, tend to show up in physical form, which is manifestation, right? He also taught me, hey, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And I was like, okay, let me like dive into this stuff a little bit deeper. So as I'm building my business, he's teaching me, I'm watching him. If I'm not on the phone with him, it's YouTube after YouTube after YouTube. He sent me all his programs in a Dropbox in my email.
Yeah.
I'm watching Thinking into Results. I'm building my business and I'm doing Bob Proctor personal development. I'm building my business. I'm doing Bob Proctor personal development. All of a sudden, I become the youngest and fastest ever in that company to earn $1 million. Wow. And he's like, congratulations, it's awesome. He goes, Alex, why were you able to earn $1 million faster and younger than anybody else in the company? And I tried to articulate the answer, and I gave him two answers, and he was like, no, those are both bullshit answers. I said, yeah, well, I have really good parents. And he's like, you're the only kid with good parents? Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay. I go, I worked really hard. I did. I worked really, really hard. He goes, are you the only person that worked really hard in the company? I'm like, no. He's like, okay, come to Toronto. Fly to Toronto next weekend. It was like a $10,000 or $15,000 per head ticket. He let me come in and like be a fly on the wall. He goes, you're gonna spend a week with me. It was called his Matrix event. Okay. He goes, when you leave this event, you're gonna understand what happened to you. And then you're gonna have the ability to go out there and teach it to anybody you want to.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. You know, like this is literally insane.
So that was like the first experience you had with manifestation.
Yeah.
Right? And how, okay, so let's say, you know, someone's out there, they're watching this, and they're like, look at these guys talking about voodoo stuff. You know, how, if you had to break it down into a science, manifestation, or even the law of attraction, for someone that just hears it and they just keep going, what would you say to them?
Well, it all begins in your mind, right? So kind of the formula that I took from him and then I implemented into this, right? It's your thoughts transition into your feelings. Your feelings transition into your emotional vibrational frequency, right? How you feel. Like one of the secrets is feeling good all the time. And then how you feel will cause you to take certain physical actions. The actions produce the result. So if you want to change the result, most people think, oh, I gotta go immediately and change the action. Wake up earlier, drink more water, eat more protein, which is kind of true, but to change the result, you must go all the way to the beginning and change your thinking. Right? It's called the paradigm. You know, a paradigm is a multitude of habits that dictates everything about our life. Our perception, the way we see money, the way we see success, the way we see the world, right? The way we use our time, our creativity, our self-image, how we see ourselves, our confidence. Like, and this is what I spend time teaching. The physical side of success, the physical side of sales and all that, it's very, very important. Like people need to know how to present, how to prospect, how to close, how to onboard, how to overcome objections and have the right rebuttals. However, if this salesperson or leader in real estate, insurance, network marketing, direct sales, whatever it is, if they don't have this part right, you know, your desire, your why, your thoughts, your thinking, your feelings, your vibrational frequency, your self-image, your self-confidence. If you don't have this stuff right, it's like, who are you before you pick up the phone? Who are you before you give a presentation in front of 5 people? So what I learned in Toronto was, he said, Alex, you changed your paradigm. That's what changed. He said, you started walking around campus feeling as if you're already making $8,000 to $10,000 a month. You were meeting prospects and leaders and people. They thought you were already making 10 grand a month when you were making no money a month because you were acting as if it was already done. Like my second book that hit #2, Wall Street Journal bestseller, it's called The Secret to Knowing It's Already Done. Because that's the secret.
So let's say someone's watching and they're like, I want to start manifesting tomorrow. What are like the first steps that they can take to say, okay, I'm switching my paradigm starting tomorrow?
Well, one of the things, and this is one of the tangibles, right, that people watching this can take home, okay? You need to hack your belief system. Okay, our belief system is created by the things we see, hear, and experience. Right? These are called what in English? Our eyes. What word is in the word eyes? Yes. Whatever we see is an automatic yes. Okay, whatever we hear goes into our heart. You put a T on the end of the word hear, it spells heart. So if you're seeing the right things, you're hearing the right things, and then your experiences, right? People only change for really 2 ways. Number one, it's a constant spaced repetition of specific information, or it's an emotional impact. Somebody dies. You get stage 4 cancer. You lose your house. Your wife, you find out your wife cheats on you with 10 dudes and you're fucking losing your mind. Whatever it is, right? So I teach people, don't wait for the nightmare to show up. Change your paradigm way before then, man. But constant spaced repetition. So what people can do is it's like, hey man, what's your dream car? A BMW. Cool. That's what people say. A BMW, right? But what color is the BMW? What color is the interior? Okay. Is there music playing? You're driving the car. Where are you driving the car? LA, California. Okay. Who's sitting next to you? You know, my dad, Brian. Okay. What's the weather outside? What's the weather like? Smelling the fresh leather. So what you're doing is you're creating a mental movie of a future situation. And I believe that. People say, oh, it's hocus pocus, it's voodoo. I'm like, listen, man, I had a picture of Porsche Tower on my wall when I was living in a townhome in Arizona, sharing a toilet with other dudes. Okay? And I had Porsche. I couldn't afford a month's rent. And then, you know, buy the sucker cash.
I think once you see it work once you see the manifesting work once, you're like, this is life now. This is what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And I think people don't even understand that you can also manifest bad things in your life.
For sure.
Right? Like if you're walking around all the time, you're pissed off, you're this, that. that's what you're going to attract, and that's who you will continue to become.
Yep.
Right. And then when it comes to seeing and hearing, it's funny, you know, me and my business partner back in Toronto, we would do this thing all the time where we would drive through this beautiful area in Toronto. It's called Bridle Path. It's where Drake lives.
Yeah.
Massive homes. And me and my partner Anthony, we would just drive through and just be like, just look at them.
Yeah.
This is real.
Love
this could
it.
be real. We would do it every night. Like, I'm not even joking. We
Yeah.
would work during the
Yeah.
day and then go check it out at night. But we did that a lot of different times with different things, right? We said, okay, what cars do we want to drive? And same thing.
Yep.
Picture yourself driving it. Then I got the car and I was like, holy fuck. It's crazy because then you get the car, but it feels like you already felt that.
Exactly.
It's not a win. It's like, oh, I already felt this though. Like,
Dude, when I take off sitting on Delta,
Yeah.
or sometimes there's like just shitty flights,
Yeah.
Miami to Vegas, American sold out. So I'm literally, and I still do this because I don't care. I'm a humble dude from Ohio. I don't give a shit.
yeah.
I have flown Frontier, Allegiant. I've flown Spirit before.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. That's one of my superpowers as well.
True.
I'm happy staying at the Burj Al Arab in Dubai for $5,000 a night. But dude, I can be happy as shit sleeping on your couch tonight, dude.
That's ego. That's like you crushed your ego though. That's why, right? But I would also say like going to ego because I feel like ego is important to have. There's like a balance.
Yeah.
You want to have a little bit of ego. You don't want to be a cocky asshole.
Right.
You want to be confident.
Right.
So how do you find that balance? Especially you, for example, like, you know, you're making all this money and then you're going to sit economy, right? Like, how are you?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people won't do that.
Well, number one, you want to always remember where you came from.
Yeah.
I didn't sit in first class until I bought myself a first class ticket.
Okay.
Like, we flew Southwest growing up, which is fine. It's fine. It's all good, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Ego is only a problem if you have an ego problem.
Okay.
A healthy ego is okay, but here's the difference. Okay, a healthy ego is I'm great. I'm one of the best in the world. I'm phenomenal. I'm a badass. But I also know I'm no better than anybody else because we're all God's highest form of creation.
Yeah.
Okay, just because I have more money than somebody doesn't mean I'm a better person. That's insane.
Yeah.
An ego problem is I'm the best, I'm a badass, I'm one of the, I'm the greatest in the world, blah, 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 and I think I'm better than other people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference. Like, you can be supremely confident, but also have enough awareness to understand we all still come from the same place.
True.
Right? But then you can also meet people and they really think all their success is, it's all because of them and they're self-made and I'm better than everybody else and all I do is brag about all the shit I have.
Yep.
That's an ego problem. So you're right. It's good to have a healthy ego and be super confident, but you also need to come down back to earth and understand, hey, we're all human beings.
I like that.
And we got to be grateful.
Yeah. And you mentioned a bunch of times, like, you feel like you went from rock bottom to the top to rock bottom,
Yeah.
and now you're here.
Yeah.
What was rock bottom though? Because I'm listening to this story and I'm like, where's this rock
Yeah,
bottom?
I might have left a little season out.
No, but I mean,
yeah.
This is the problem with social media sometimes. And,
Yeah.
and this world is like, they'll just hear it and be like, oh, this guy was winning for 10 years straight. Right?
Yeah.
But talk about rock bottom. It's so important. And I'm sure that you don't even regret hitting that rock bottom.
One of the best things that ever happened to me.
Talk to me about it.
So, broke college kid, fastest youngest ever to make $1 million. My face is on magazines. My face is on the side of the Phoenix Suns basketball arena, literally, right, with a couple other people in our company. I leave that first company. It gets shut down 2 weeks later. I get blamed for the shutdown. I'm getting the craziest messages on earth. I never forget, somebody tweeted at me back in the days with Twitter. Someone said, I hope you and your family die
Holy
in
shit.
a car accident.
What? For what?
So I'm sitting there like, I have anxiety, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm freaking out. Bob Proctor, in this time frame, he was given misinformation. We did not speak for about 18 months.
Oh, someone told him something about you?
Yeah, Alex is, evil, and he left the company, and he knew it was gonna get shut down. All this bullshit.
Okay.
And he believed whatever, because he was very close friends with some of the people in that company. Okay. It's all good. We made up, obviously, and, we were fine. And he apologized, actually,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
But in that time frame, man, I'm spending more money every month than I'm making. I'm living in a Scottsdale, Arizona loft thing with a girl that turned into an ex-girlfriend. Wasn't the right person for me.
Okay.
I'm 35 pounds overweight. I'm getting attacked on social media every 15 seconds. And I'm like, God, give me one more opportunity. I remember like crying myself to sleep a couple nights. The only thing that saved me that time was personal development. Wow. Like, thank God I was aware enough to know, keep your head in these books, keep your head in these audios, keep your head in these positive videos. Because if you just sit there and take negativity, dude, you're fucked. Yeah. And I don't think I was quote unquote depressed, but if I've ever been close, it was that point. Yeah. And God gave me another opportunity in 2016, man. Yeah. And I would say I'd be praying and I'd be like, I'll do it right. No ego, all humility. We have a website in our industry. Like, people love to post their income on there just to brag and shit. Okay. It's called businessforhome.org. I literally said to God, I'm like, I won't even post my income on the website. That's how humble I'm a freaking be, dude. Yeah. And then, listen, man, got into this company. Changed. Everyone told me it wasn't going to work out. This guy's a scam artist. Never going to. Forex is bullshit. Bitcoin's a fad, right?
Crazy.
And biggest success in my entire career.
And I know you started taking your health, like your fitness, your health seriously.
Yeah.
That's when you linked up with Gary Brecka?
Correct. So
legend.
A lot of people don't know this, man.
Crazy story. Tell the story.
Yeah. Well, one of the parts of it I got to leave out because it makes me mad, the financial aspect of it.
But I think that,
yeah.
And I watched your video with him.
Okay.
And he is super grateful for you, man.
Oh, big time. I was texting him yesterday.
I don't think that's something you should shy away from. Knowing that you did that, I don't think he's shying away from it clearly.
No, he told the whole world.
And I think that shows what kind of person you are, man, in a whole other light.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about big money, believing someone.
Yeah. No, I love him and his family to death. His son's doing this crazy 7 marathon, 7 continent, 7 days race right now. Cole, great kid. Yeah. I go to their spot. I'm in the infrared sauna. Yeah. I'm working out. I'm fucking ice plunging with, different people in there. So they're some of the best people ever, honest to God.
Yeah.
So I get a phone call. I was renting a Porsche. I get a phone call. Yo, come to Naples. First off, what's Naples? Yeah. Right? I don't know. Yeah. It's drive Alligator Alley, come down here. What's in Naples? There's this guy named Gary. Who's Gary? You're gonna love this guy. Yeah. What does he do? He's into health, biohacking, this, that, and the third. He can help you lose the weight you want to lose and add more muscle. Okay. For some reason, I believe this guy. Wow. And I fucking go to Naples, Florida. Gary's in a tiny little office. It's called, I'm like laughing because it's so crazy.
To think about it, yeah.
He's in this little office, Streamline Medical. Fucking best guy ever, dude. So much energy, so much everything. And the truth is, like, a longer story short, like, I tried to bring investors to him. Nobody invested in this guy for whatever reason. I remember, like, good friends of mine that had money came in. We got a hotel. We got a room at the Grand Hotel in Naples, the Grand Beach Hotel, something. Okay. People after people, meeting after meeting, investor after investor. No one wanted to put money into this guy, pretty much. And I was down there for a couple weeks, back and forth. We're working out at LA Fitness. I'm doing peptides. Yeah. My first ever injection in my arm. I'm like losing my mind, injecting myself with vitamins. And it got to the point where we're having dinner at his house in Naples one night with his family. Awesome fucking family. Great. Just honestly, like, just some of the best people ever, right? Yeah. And he's like, dude, I'm either making my mortgage payment or I'm making payroll. Damn. And he's like, I have to make payroll. Because he always had such a big vision and such a big dream. And something inside of me said, Alex, bet on this guy. I stroke him a check.
Wow.
150 grand. A couple months later, I'm sitting down with Grant Cardone. And Grant's like, yo, put money in Cardone Capital. We're friends, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, okay, I'll put in $250,000 in a Cardone Capital if you meet my friend Gary. Wow. Who's this? You know how busy I am, motherfucker. What the fuck, dude? 10X. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this guy helped me get in shape. He got my dad's health in order. Yeah. I feel fucking great. I'm telling you, Grant, this guy, there's something special about this dude, man. Yep. Grant's like, whatever, okay. Gary comes in there and tells Grant about himself without even, doing any tests. Like, Gary's like, I bet you can't sleep. I bet you, your test, this, that, and the third. Everything checks out. The guy's just unbelievable, right? Yeah. So they partner up, and then, Dave Grutman comes in, and then, Gary Brecka is like the biggest person in the world when it comes to health and wellness. And at one point, I haven't said this part of the story, but I'm going to say it here. Dude, I have an email, man, where I owned 44% of Streamline Medical that transitioned into 10X Health. And somewhere along the way, it's all good. Me and Gary are going to have a private dinner one day.
I'm sure
He's going to take care of me one day, man.
I'm sure they'll take care of you.
There's just so much love, dude.
And
like, I
just so
see the guy fucking just squeeze the shit out of him.
Just so the audience knows, like, we're talking about Gary Brecka when he was unknown. This is what I'm talking about.
Bro, he didn't have Instagram.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's like that's like a destiny thing, bro. That's like
absolutely, and that's why, because we're both big believers in God and divine intervention. Like, that was divine intervention. Like, we don't sync up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows if there's Gary Brecka today?
How many lives has he
millions
helped?
Millions.
Money is one thing, right?
Yeah.
He's a winner. He would have won no matter what. But the amount of human beings' lives that have been, forget changed, dude, saved.
Yeah.
Saved. Because Alex Morton and Gary Brecka meet up in Naples, Florida. That's something that is just...
Dude, when I found that out, I was blown away.
Yeah.
I was blown away. Because I was like, that's like, it just shows so much, everything that you believe in and that you preach.
Exactly. And bro, on the podcast with him, Ultimate Human Podcast, I said, Gary, you're one of the best examples of what I fucking teach.
Yes.
Like, I met him in Naples. You would have thought he was already helping Tom Brady and fucking Stephen A. Smith and Dana White. You would have thought that. I'm like, you emitted such a vibrational frequency into the universe. You attracted me physically to drive my ass to Naples, and then you attracted me to say, you know what, I'm gonna give you 150 grand.
Yeah.
And then, like, dude, you're a perfect example of the law of attraction.
And what you saw in him, I guess, was just like, this guy's not going to stop no matter what.
Not going to stop, dude. He just loves it, man.
Yeah.
Like, and, he gets hate, and I see people make these videos. I'm like, bro, you don't even know this guy. Like, if you knew him like I knew him, he's reading medical books for fun. Like, he's not lying to people. Like, he fucking lives this shit.
I think once you start going against like the science and big pharma, that's when people start saying,
"Oh, big pharma, right? Exactly."
Right? So, but he's, like I said, he's done wonders for probably millions of people. And I want to know,
sure.
I want to know what, I know you mentioned a few things, but what have you implemented now from your relationship with him? I know, I'm watching your stuff on Instagram, and no seed oils. We're not doing none of that today. So, and you're talking about your morning routine, which I'm a big believer in that too, because you could work as hard as you want. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if your habits are all fucked up, you're working at 20% capacity.
Yep.
Right. So talk about a little bit about what you've implemented since, and even your morning. Your morning routine.
Just the education over the years. With Gary, getting your blood work done and actually seeing what the hell's wrong, and not just like throwing crap at the wall and hoping it sticks. Like, oh, just take some vitamin gummies, or you might need testosterone.
Yep.
You might not need testosterone.
Everyone's just going straight to testosterone nowadays. Like, they just go straight to it.
Right.
They don't even know if they need it.
You need to check your levels. Like, I got on testosterone. My levels, I did a recent blood. I got off a test for a couple months there.
Okay.
Dude, I just got my blood work done. My shit was in the 200s.
Wow.
So I need something to get it going, right?
Yep.
Just being more conscious about health, man.
Yeah.
Making better decisions. I'm not saying I'm a carnivore or keto only, but I attempt, and I'm not perfect. I did my body fat yesterday. At Rule Fitness down the street, 17.8%.
Oh, it's like an athlete almost, bro.
So it's like good, but I still want to, everyone's dream is like 12%, 13%, right?
Think about what you were before.
But I don't even know what I was before.
Yeah.
28% body fat.
Yeah.
227 pounds, tired all the time.
Yeah.
Couldn't survive without 15 energy drinks.
Yeah.
I was also drinking more back then. I was just unhealthy, man.
So the benefits you feel off that, I guess you're just more, like, you're more dialed in during the day, like you're more focused. Like, what are the benefits that you're actually seeing?
Dude, everything.
Yeah.
Mental clarity.
Yeah.
Ability to stay focused. Lean muscle, gaining of lean muscle mass, shedding of unwanted body fat.
Yeah.
And and honestly, like, doing my blood work every quarter, and then, like, I just got my blood, besides for my testosterone, like, the doctor on the phone was literally like, bro, everything is, he's like, you have a kidney of a 14-year-old type of thing, a liver of a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Meaning, like, just knowing in the back of my mind, like, I'm healthy, I'm thriving.
Of course.
Like what you think about shows up. So I'm like, oh, I'm physically spiritually, mentally, emotionally fucking thriving, man. So in business, I'm gonna be thriving over here too.
Yeah.
So it helps everything. And Gary will tell you, I can't share too much. I can't share some stuff because a lot of it's classified and medical and some of these different people, like world leaders and stuff, right? But I remember Gary telling me, he goes, Alex, I sit down with people that are multi billionaires. And he goes, they would give every cent just to feel good.
I know.
So I hear that. I'm like, I'm never going to let anything come before being healthy.
You know what's crazy? A lot of people will hear that too, and they'll just be like, and I've made these excuses before too, where I'm just like, okay, but he's 60, I'm 30. Like, if I'll do this for like 3 more years, and then I'll care about my health. I'm sure you had those thoughts
for
too.
sure.
Where you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna grind. 30 comes, then we could start figuring things out.
Dude, I was man, in my single time before meeting my wife, dude, on the road, lots of events, very, very little sleep, drinking, partying, raging, shisha, tequila, like a fucking psychopath, dude.
Living the dream.
But it took a hit.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun. It's like, do you regret anything? Well, not really, because that made me who I am today.
Yep.
Right? But now it's like, yo, I'm taking my D3 every day. I'm taking my magnesium every day.
Yeah.
I'm doing vitamin amino blend. Like I sit in the sauna 4 times a week.
Yeah.
They just put a cold plunge in downstairs. So I'm in that thing.
Yeah.
3 to 4 times a week. Like I'm making sure I take care of myself.
So let's say we were talking about creating like an ultimate morning routine for someone, you know? And let's also talk about kind of dumbing it down. Maybe someone doesn't have access to a sauna, or maybe let's dumb it down and let's say, here's a couple things you should do for sure in the morning, and here's a couple things you should not do. Let's talk about both things.
Well, when you wake up, don't grab your phone, number one.
So hard, bro.
Like, you want to, people act like, you know, Obama or Bieber or Taylor Swift is fucking sending them a naked selfie or something, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? Like, who's talking to you? Your dumb fuck, your fucking cousin? Your broke homie down the street that's higher than a kite with no money? It's like, wake up. Don't grab your phone, man. I wake up, man. Gratitude and prayer.
Okay.
You know, I have my own little prayer that I've done every single day since my grandma passed away. Wow. 20 years ago on Christmas morning. Something just called to me, and I prayed every day since then. So I'm literally like thanking God. I'm thanking my angels for watching over me. I'll say a couple things there, and then I'm taking a moment, I'm breathing, and I'm just thinking about the things I'm grateful for. You know, so because powerful. when you're in a harmonious vibration of gratitude, doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, jealousy, envy, greed cannot exist when you're grateful. And there's some science here too. The first 20 minutes upon waking up, our subconscious mind is the most impressionable all day.
That's when it's formed for the day.
So your first 20 minutes, negativity, World War III, you know, rape, murder, killing, taxes, communism, all this crazy shit.
That's your day.
You're waking, now you're in a chaotic vibration, man. So you wake up, prayer, gratitude. Some people write down their goals. I do that some mornings, right? And then very, very simple. Upon your first 20 minutes of waking up, try to do 20 minutes of steady state cardio, 20 grams of protein, and 20 minutes of just thought, gratitude, prayer, whatever you want to call it. 20.
I like that.
If you can't afford a sauna, it's okay. You know, Gary will tell you go outside, ground. I don't go to the beach every day, but some days I go out there. You put your feet on earth. It cleans your cellular level. It cleans your chakras. All these different, like, real stuff. People, oh yeah, voodoo. It's like, bro, you're an idiot.
Until they try it and it works, and then they become literally a promoter of it.
It's
That's
like
what
the
happens.
most real thing we have is this. Well, I don't believe that. It's like, how has your thinking worked out for you, man?
It's true.
Like, you can't afford to take a family vacation. You're unhealthy as hell. You look forward to just drinking a bunch of beer on the weekends watching the Cleveland Browns play. It's like, try this way of thinking. That's what Bob was very aggressive, like one-on-one. He would say, your way's not working. Try my way. And sometimes the best love is the tougher love. But 20 is great. Prayer, gratitude. And then this is like a hack, and I'll leave it here. I don't go to bed the night before without knowing what I have to execute on the following day.
Preparation, man, that's so key. People just like look right past that. Preparation in life is key, and I'm a big believer in that too, because when it comes to your day-to-day, bro, I write everything down. I'm like one of those guys that I still write by hand, bro. You know, I have notebooks from 10 years ago of me, what I had to do the next day. You know? Like, so I'm a big believer in that. And I think that the more prepared you are, the more kind of seamless those actions will happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, man.
You know, if you're preparing for the gym the next morning, you're not going to think too hard about it that day.
Right. Proper planning prevents poor execution.
There it is.
It's it. Simple stuff. And by the way, people watching this right now, some people watching this think you have to be some intellectual genius, have the best SAT and ACT scores, go to the best universities, come from a rich family. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I've worked with people from third world countries that go out there and make 6, 7, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's bullshit. We've been programmed to fail from a lot of our parents, unfortunately, grandparents, friends, you know, other relatives, mass media. Like I remember growing up in Ohio watching this show on TV, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
They try to like make $1 million seem like such a stretch, such a fantasy. And then you start making money. Like Grant says this all the time. Like, dude, I'll give you $1 million. You're gonna find out really quickly how small amount of money $1 million is, especially if you're living in a place like Miami, Dubai, London. Of course.
I
it's
think
like,
that's
bro.
I think that's why they ended that show. They're like, okay, we have to make this Who Wants to Win $100 million now.
I mean, for real though.
Yeah. You're so open-minded, so I have to ask this: have you ever tried shrooms or any psychedelics? Because it seems like, you know,
no one's asked me this on the podcast before, but we're here we are.
Sorry, bro. I had to
yes, I've done shrooms before.
Yeah.
One time in Hawaii, one time in Thailand. Not a ton, but I started listening to the Joe Rogans talking about it and different people. Like, and some of my friends that are like, "Yo, it's not this. You're not gonna like
jump off.
You're not doing. It's not heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not. It's not a criminal activity. Fucking. You're gonna go out there and murder the whole city.
Yep.
You're gonna literally like eat this thing with a piece of chocolate.
Yep.
In Costa Rica, like on the beach, and you're gonna have a great experience.
Yeah.
Most of those experiences have been good. One, I must have been an artificial mushroom thing. I was on a yacht in Miami.
Oh, no.
And I took this chocolate mushroom bar, bro. The fucking ship was melting, bro.
Oh my God.
Losing my shit. But that wasn't like an organic thing though. That
it's
was
all
like
about environment when you do that stuff.
But on the whole like drug thing, I don't like being high.
Yep.
Like I don't smoke weed.
Okay.
I know it's legal, like literally like everywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
It just makes me paranoid and anxious. But for me, it's like a good old fashioned, some really high quality, you know, tequila, and then like on vacation or trips, I'll take a little bit of, you know, mushrooms and just chill out. And honestly, I think the mushrooms give us humans a more spiritual experience.
Of course.
Because when I was taking them, and I was really trying to like be in tune and stuff, and this may sound crazy to a lot of people, but like I felt as if like the mountains, the sand, the grass, the fucking butterflies and shit, I was like, yo, I feel like we're all actually, because Bob always said everything's connected. Everything's connected. We're all one. We're all one. And it's like, okay, what does that even mean? But then like in that moment, I'm like, yo, I really think we are connected.
We are. Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, a lot of people say that. I experienced it, like the trees breathing, like it looks like they're breathing. The grass is breathing, and you're
literally
just like,
though.
But that's your ego dying. That's like your ego is dead after that because you're just like, wow, I am literally just like the piece of grass. That's what I am, right? I had to ask because you know a lot of people awaken their minds to things like law of attraction and manifestation after they've had a shroom awakening. I've experienced that with a lot of friends too. They're like, oh, like now I get it, or bro, I see this is different, or I can see through people.
Right.
Like you can see people's intentions a lot more differently too, right? And I think the whole preparation of it is funny because like people will say, hey, try microdosing or try a hero dose, but make sure you have intentions.
Right.
And it's like, we should have that in life too, though.
Yeah, of course.
Like every morning before you wake up, have your intentions before you go out there, right?
Of course.
Okay, I want to get into some fun stuff, but before that, you know, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, Bob Proctor, these are crazy names, man.
Yeah.
You know, who was the first big name to kind of give you any sort of praise, and how did that feel?
Well, Bob was like my mentor and coach, and he congratulated me along the way.
Yeah.
But honestly, Grant Cardone put me on a Power Players podcast, and people
Okay.
can look this up on YouTube.
Okay.
2014.
Okay.
And it was praise, 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 praise. And then on the show, we were sitting like this in his like when he had a smaller office before Grant really like was Grant.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, dude, how much money did you make last year?" And I like said it so proudly. I'm like 750 grand. And he looked at me, and he goes, "Dude, that's baby money."
I could see him saying that.
And I remember sitting there like, "You can watch the episode." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" And he's like, "Dude, it's fucking baby money, dude."
Yeah.
He goes, "I want you to fucking 10x that shit." He's like, "You can suck on that kind of money." And at the time, I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yo."
Yeah.
I was like pissed. Like I just had the biggest year of my, one of the biggest years of my career, and this guy's literally like dehumanizing me. But then later down the road, I saw him and I spoke at the 10x deal a couple times, and I'm like, "Yo, that event actually lit the fire under my ass."
Wow.
Like that event said, "You know what? Let's turn the yearly income into monthly income." That's a real 10x or 12x. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he was probably one of the first like, like talking about me and stuff. Like this Alex kid's over there doing his thing, young kid, grinder, blah, blah, blah. I remember he told me one time, he said, "You're probably one of the only people I think that could one day do the things that I'm doing." I was like, "Shit, that's cool."
For him to say that,
You know,
he just
because
seemed
we're like, I don't have the same background as him, but we're both kind of like, I don't want to go have a real estate fund.
But you guys have kind of the same kind of energy. I mean, he's a little bit more aggressive, I would say, than
yeah,
my
and
experience
he's
with you.
changed over the years, and
Yeah.
then he went like super full tilt Trump, which is
Okay.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, but like in terms of the thinking big,
Yeah.
right? Like I've always thought super, super big. I remember going to my first big like industry event. It's called GoPro, and I was making like 40 grand a month. And the guy walks on stage with a red jacket on, I'll never forget it. And he's talking about, he's in a coffee company. And he's telling the audience, "I'm making $1 million a month selling coffee." And I remember sitting there like, "Yo, what?" And I remember writing down in my journal, "I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning $1 million per month." And everyone's like, "Dude, no one makes $1 million a month, only this guy. Like, it's not possible."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck that, yeah, it is." And it didn't happen in a year, it didn't happen in 2 years, but eventually, guess what? It showed up. So I forgot the question.
But
yeah.
manifesting works. It just takes time sometimes,
Yeah.
straight up. But I wanted to ask about your motivation. When I meet people like you who are so driven,
Yeah.
and I look at you, bro, and I'm like, this guy's not gonna retire ever. He's never gonna stop. I can
No.
tell, right? What is your motivating factor? Guys will, men and women, they'll have different motivating factors. The most popular ones, bad breakup, someone died, I got humiliated, I got made stupid,
Right.
They have all these motivations. I have some similar to those as well that keep me driven to this day.
Yeah, for sure.
What was it for you? What is it for you to this day?
Some of it when I first started was proving people wrong.
Okay.
There was a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Network marketing, like you said, attracts a lot of scrutiny. And I wanted to just become so big and so successful that I just drown out every noise.
Yeah.
And I did that for the most part. I don't really get hate anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's like, bro, this guy's been doing it for 13 years, 75 countries. Like, you know what I mean? And I mean that.
Yeah.
It's like, awesome, right?
If they're hating on you, they're hating on hundreds of thousands of people, technically.
Right. It's like, dude, just get a life at this point. Like, get a life, right? But honestly, the deeper drivers for me, my dad's side, Russian, Polish, Eastern European, went through the Holocaust.
Wow.
My mom's side, Armenian, went through the Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
Both sides of me attacked, persecuted, millions were killed,
Yeah.
Brutally fucking murdered, raped, killing the babies in the villages. So it's like knowing that, and I'm here. So like that drives me to this day.
Yeah.
And it may sound crazy to some people. I believe my ancestors, I believe all our ancestors see us, hear us, connect with us, right?
Yeah.
I want to make them proud, number one, for sure. And then number two, it's like, I want to keep reaching my potential. Like retiring. Like retiring is like, you don't like what you do.
Yeah.
Bob was giving seminars until he passed away. There's a video of Jim Rohn, who mentored Tony Robbins, giving a presentation, a seminar, right, on an Herbalife stage. And he's so old, he's sitting in a chair. He can't even stand up anymore, but he's still trying to help and serve and
That's his purpose.
So like I'm driven by a lot. But now it's like, instead of proving people wrong, I just want to prove myself right. And now I'm in the mental place where I'm like, how far can I really take this thing? You know, Bob passed away. A lot of these guys are getting older. You know, Tony's still Tony, but he's definitely in his 60s now. Yeah. You know, Grant's double my age. Yeah. People like Ed Milet told me, listen, kid, like you can fucking really do this thing. Yeah. Patrick Bet David is part Armenian. We've never met in person, but we've exchanged some stuff on Instagram.
He's the best, man.
Yeah. So I'm like, why would I, like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, fuel up the plane.
You're just getting started.
Yeah.
With this. And how about, you mentioned losing your grandmother. How did that affect you?
Well, she was like one of my best friends. Yeah. You know, her last couple of years in life, she spent with us living in Ohio. I shared a restroom, I shared a bathroom, a shower, and a toilet with her and my sister growing up in Ohio for like the last couple of years of her life. And one of the things I'll never forget was she was explaining to me the meaning of my name. Wow. In Armenian and Greek. Alexander means helper of man. Okay. And she's like, you're going to help a lot of people. Wow. And I was like, you know, I think back and I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, there's so much of that family, I don't want to say pride, but, and also, you know, I had the best parents ever. Like, and my mom, like, she's just like the best. Like, all my friends are like, dude, your mom is like the best. Like, straight up. Yeah. Like, if I had a mom like your mom, right? Yeah. And she's, you know, prideful and stuff. And growing up, like, other kids' parents were like, you know, when I was going to Arizona State, people would like talk shit. Oh, your son's going to Arizona State. Like, they let in everybody, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Alex dropped out of the business school, blah, 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 blah. Oh, how many times did Alex make the distinguished honor roll? Like a 3.75 was the distinguished honor roll. Okay. I never made that thing. I made the honor roll a couple times. But like now it's like, I want to succeed for everybody, man. It's almost not even about me. As weirdly as that is. Yeah. It's about the supporting cast.
Well, like you said, like the lineage of that passing of the torch, like that's enough motivation, right? Just that. Yeah. Do you feel like there's going to be a time where you're going to have to pass that torch?
God willing. Yeah. At some point.
Yeah. You got to find someone.
There'll be some students that rise up. And, you know, with Bob always said results tell the truth. True. So, you know, he's had a lot of great students. I'm not saying I'm the only great student, Bob. He's had millions of good students. Yeah. But, you know, he said this to me before. There's another guy named Phil Feingold or Guy Phil, I don't know. Bob helped him win an Emmy, an Oscar, and a Grammy somehow. Crazy accomplishments, right? But I remember Bob telling me, he goes, you know, there's not many people that took the information and really had the most insane results like you. Yeah. And then now you're teaching it. Because I remember years ago, I'm like, I want to make a program. I made a lot of money. I want to help more people. And he's like, call it, you know, AM's way or the Alex Morton way. I never did it. But the point is, I remember talking to him like, yo, Bob, what do I teach? What should I teach? You know, I could talk about this and that. And he goes, teach what I teach. Damn. I'm like, okay. So that's what I do. I teach what he teaches.
I feel like he didn't say that to many other people.
I don't know. People do it, and it's God bless everybody.
Of course, no, right? But that's amazing because, like, we want the more people preaching that, the better, obviously. Of course. But when it comes to someone really representing it, man, that's a really cool torch to have.
Yeah, it is. Really it is. Cool torch and that's an honor. It's a privilege. I'm grateful for it, but like I also don't take it lightly. Yeah. You know, that's why I still go hard.
I remember when he passed, I was so upset. Man.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I was like, bro, think about all the people that aren't going to get that information anymore. And then I came across you. I'm like, thank God, you know? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's say, to give some more value now before we finish off the episode, let's say someone never set goals before in their life. They never did. And they're saying, you know what, man, 2025 is my year. I'm going to start setting fucking goals. What would you tell them in terms of goal setting? Where to start?
Well, number one, you need to define what you really want.
Okay.
Not what your friend wants or your neighbor wants or your parents want. Like, what do you actually want? So we say get clearly defined goals. Okay. So I would start maybe brainstorming on a sheet of paper, and then I would take some of these different goals and then turn them into something we call a goal card. Okay. Where you write it down in the present tense. Okay. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am driving a BMW. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am earning $40,000 a month, and then put a date. You know, a great date for people setting goals right now for the new year. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am earning $100,000 a month by December 31st, 2025.
So detailed.
Detailed. Because the universe responds to detail. Mm-hmm. I want more money. Here's $10. It's more money.
Yeah.
I want a new car. Here's a shitty Hyundai. It's a new car. You know what I'm saying? Clearly defined goals. Okay. And now that you have your goal set, now it's like, okay, what's the strategy here? Wait, how do I move from A to B? Well, most people are setting goals based on financial increase. Most people, right?
Yeah.
So to go financial increase, you need a vehicle, right? So now you have to figure out what industry, number one, has unlimited earning potential, and what industry can I get around the right mentors or groups of people that already have the results? You know, in America, there's so many, man.
Yeah, it's true.
There's door-to-door sales, there's solar, there's insurance. Listen, there's podcasts, there's multi-millionaire podcasters.
They are.
Somebody could start a pod, and they could watch you and study you. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of vehicles, right?
Yeah,
but you got to get clear. And I tell people, man, focus is follow one course until success.
Okay.
You don't want to be successful because then you're full. But to be success, focus on one path. Like so many people in today's world, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a world-class Forex trader and real estate developer and insurance broker. It's like, bro, no, you're not, man. You want to make $1,000 a month in 7 things, or make 10 grand a month in 1. So I would say, find the vehicle, find the strategy, find the coach, find the mentor, and then set DMOs, daily methods of operation. What do I need to do today to make sure today is executed properly? And then do that on Tuesday and Wednesday. Because people got to understand, like, you know, 7 good days in a row is a good week. 4 good weeks is a good month. 12 months in a row, man, you just had a fucking killer year.
Yeah.
And then get to work.
Genius.
Get to work.
Yeah. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, you know, now that you just said it, it's like goal setting and manifestation is the same thing. Correct? Mm-hmm. Like it's pretty much the same.
It's part of the process.
It's all part of it, right? And speaking about manifestation, we do something on the show where we have our guest manifest something on the show. Look at the camera and manifest something you want to come true in the next 5-10 years so that we can come back to this episode.
Oh, wow.
Clip it and say, this guy said it.
Yeah.
So it's all yours. The floor is yours.
At least 100 million in career earnings. I'm so happy and grateful now that I've helped 100 people earn $100,000 a month in residual income. And I'm so happy and grateful now that my brand is one of the biggest brands in the world when it comes to personal development.
Damn. Can't wait.
There we go.
I can't wait for it to happen.
Done deal.
Our final question.
Yeah.
Alex, does money buy happiness?
Yes. When you have the money and you spend it on creating happiness, which means maybe it's buying your little sister a car. Maybe it's paying off the debt from your dad's credit card bills. Yeah. Maybe it's, you know, I'm very passionate about human trafficking. Like I want to make a ton of money and then go out there and go hunt down these bastards that do human labor and sex trafficking, right? So money does buy happiness when money is being spent on increasing your happiness. And the best way to increase your happiness is focusing on growth and contribution to humanity. You go out there and buy, I get a Rolls Royce, right? Whatever. For the first month. Oh my God, don't drink coffee in it. No eating protein bars. You know, if you're sweaty, take your shirt off. It's a Rolls Royce. Yeah. 2 months later, I'm sitting in there soaked in sweat after the fucking sauna. Yeah. You know, a watch. Oh my God, don't scratch it. Don't do this. Dude, 2 months later, you're fucking shucking it onto the couch. Yeah. What's my point? Material items, super short-term happiness. Real happiness is what have you given to this world? How many people have you served? For me, how many lives have I changed and impacted, man? There's no better feeling than walking into a room in another country across the world. People's parents are coming up to you saying, you know what? My son Jason, maybe he's made some money, maybe he hasn't made money in the company, but because of you, he stopped smoking. Wow. He started reading books. He bought Think and Grow Rich off of Amazon.
Best book.
He's not screwing around on video games anymore. He's listening to Jim Rohn audio tapes. Like his life is better now because he came across you.
That's the real fulfillment. Like how many people you can impact. And you see it all the time. Someone gets to a certain level and then they just start donating money and doing this. And you can see it, right? That's when the happiness changes from personal wealth to saying, I want to make everyone wealthy. Absolutely.
Right? Growth and contribution to me at this point is equating to happiness.
Brother, what a chat. What a pleasure.
Awesome.
I appreciate you for coming. If anyone's watching this, you guys got to tap in with Alex. straight G. This guy knows what he's talking about. And make sure you start manifesting as well. I'll put all his links below. Thank you for joining us. Peace.